I just want to talk to you today about 5 of the most common mistakes that I see coaches making, especially new coaches. But you know what? I've been in here long enough where I've seen some veteran coaches do this as well. So I want to go through these one by one, briefly explain what I mean by each one, and then I challenge you to really reflect and think about these. Like, are you making any of these mistakes, and how is that showing up in your business? And what can you do instead? So make a game plan for yourself. Hopefully none of these apply to you, but just in case, or just in case it comes up in the future. So the first most common mistake and the easiest one to make, and it happens not just to new coaches, but people who've been in the business for years, is you fear other people's perceptions of you and what you're doing. So this kind of just is like basically caring way too much what other people think about you, about the business you decided to join, about your mission, about your purpose, about your products, about everything, right? So you have this thing going on in your head going, oh my gosh, like people are going to think I'm just a scammer. People are going to think I'm just trying to make money off of them, blah, blah, blah. And you go into your business activities with this presumption that people are going to be super turned off by what you're doing. But what I want to challenge you to remember is that your posts and the way you conduct yourself in public and the way that you show up on your journey is what people perceive. They're not just perceiving the message that you're sending them or the invite or whatever. They're seeing you. And if you are afraid that other people are judging you, there are a few things that I think are going on. And one of them will lead into something we'll talk about in a couple more points. But I think, first of all, maybe you aren't entirely certain about why you're doing what you're doing. You have lost sight of how excited you were to be a health and fitness coach and help other people get healthy. You have lost sight of your why, your purpose for doing this, and you've allowed the world to overwhelm your mind instead of coming into your work activities with this certainty of what you're doing and why you're doing it. So always go back to your why. In fact, I write mine down. I create a vision board and I write mine down so that I can look at it and remember I'm doing this for my family, for my children to not have to worry about if we can afford for them to play sports. We're doing this so that we can be debt-free and give more abundantly than we have ever dreamed before. I know my why, and no one is going to judge me out of my purpose. Do you know what I mean? And like, I'm going to be super honest, you guys, you're creating that in your mind. It doesn't really exist. If people don't like you, is that on you if you're being genuine? No, that's on them and whatever they have going on in their mind. You can't make everyone like you. Whether you do what you think people like or whether you do what you like, people are judging you either way. You might as well do what you like and what will help you achieve your goals. Okay, number 2 is you are prejudging others. So while you're afraid of judgment, in your own way, you're prejudging other people's potential or interest in what you have to offer through the challenge groups or the coaching opportunity. So you are maybe looking at someone and being like, oh, I just don't know if they'd be a good coach because you know, they're just really into running and they love running. And so they probably wouldn't be into these fitness programs. This is something that I've thought a million times. And then I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm a very serious runner and I coach running sports and I was still very interested. So I had to get rid of that out of my mind because by prejudging, I was already saying they're not going to be a coach because I was too afraid to approach them, which is just silly. We don't know. Okay, the fact of the matter is we see on social media people's highlight reels, not the real reel. So we can't assume that everyone's all happy with the job they have or they're making enough money or that they would in no way, shape, or form want to be a part of an MLM or whatever. We just have to go into it. Our job is not to prejudge whether or not someone is interested in this. Our job is simply to build a relationship and ask, okay? So, those 2 points kind of lead into the third one, which is very common, is people are skipping their personal development. And when you skip personal development, whether you're listening to a podcast or reading a book or any of the other ways you can get personal development, if you're skipping that, what you are saying is, you know what? Self-doubt, I want you in my brain. You know what? I want to be intimidated by other people. I want to have a poor mindset, because you guys, this business at some point or another is going to be hard. And I've experienced all sorts of hard seasons, and I almost quit once because I wasn't doing personal development. I thought it was woo-woo, and that I would just read my Bible verses and that would be enough. But what I didn't understand is, in business, there are a lot of things that others can teach me about what I need to do, about the mindset I need to be in. So skipping personal development is a huge mistake, because when the hard times hit, and they will, you are not going to be mentally equipped to handle it. And so I need you all to be letting me know which book you're doing for personal development, which podcasts you're subscribed to and listening to on the regular. If you're doing the if you're subscribed to the Team Beachbody podcast with all of the national wake-up calls and listening to those, you need to be digging into that. What I do is I get audiobooks. Even though I love like a regular book, I'm not often just sitting around reading. If my kids see that, they're in my face. So what I do is I pair something mindless with something mindful. So when I'm driving, when I'm doing laundry, when I'm unloading the dishwasher, when I'm cooking dinner, all of those times I have my audiobook or podcasts going into my brain, and I can't even begin to tell you what that has meant for me. And like I said, I resisted it and I almost quit when I started digging into personal development and seeing and hearing all the stories and all the different ways that people have found success. I'm like, okay, I can do it too. Please don't neglect that. Okay, number 4. This kind of goes into 1 and 2 as well. So you are not creating genuine relationships in people's inboxes. AKA, a lot of coaches think that if they just post something that tells others that they could be a coach too, or they could join a challenge group, they're thinking that's enough and that will gain them enough traction. But it doesn't. It really doesn't, because the way the algorithms work, the way that this business is kind of evolving, is that if you're not building relationships with people in their DM or their private message, then you're just a voice shouting into the void, competing with all of the other voices out there, and your posts are not really getting as seen as you want. So you have to be in the background. People who like your stuff, people who are new followers or new friends, you've got to be in their inbox, talking to them, building a relationship with them, and seeing if what you have is a solution that they need, whether it's the business opportunity or a challenge group. And yes, it's scary to get to that point where you're finally ready to invite, but you have to do that behind the scenes. Very rarely will you have someone reach out to you and say, hey, I'm in, and just like actually do it. They want to know that you're invested in them beforehand. And finally, the 5th one is ghosting. When people ghost me or the team or whatever, I get so nervous, because I'm like, I know what's happening here is that something in life has come up, whether it's their full-time job or motherhood or any other thing. They've gotten very busy and they stop showing up. And so a natural human tendency, because our brains are hardwired for comfort, is that when things get hard, we shy away from it. We push away, we justify, we say, oh, well, that works for them, but it doesn't work for me. I don't even really know if I believe in that anyway, or if that business structure even works, or blah, blah, blah. You allow other people in your brain who are saying like, yeah, network marketing, blah, 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 because people have their opinions about it. And then you just start ghosting and you push everything away. You guys, when times get tough, when you find obstacles, instead of shying away and thinking you're the only one with these problems or you're the only one experiencing overwhelm, you've got to dig into the team. You've got to let your upline sponsor coach know what's going on so we can problem solve together. Instead of you just being on your own, ghosting, and then quitting this thing that you at one point thought could help you fulfill all of your dreams. So please do not ghost, and please do not push away when things get hard. Dig in. Search videos on YouTube. There are a bajillion of them. Talk to your upline sponsor. Post it on the team page, whatever it is you're going through, because I guarantee you that if you dig into the hardship, you're going to have an entire community and tribe that's behind you. myself included, but also everyone else on the team. So those are the 5 common mistakes. I want you to do some soul searching. Ask yourself, am I making any of these mistakes? How's that going for me? What can I do to overcome them? Talk to me or whoever is your upline sponsor if you need help in any area, because again, that's what a team is for. We're here for each other. So don't make those mistakes, but if you do, it's okay. Just course correct and let's go, because we have dreams, we have goals, we have so much potential we haven't fulfilled yet, and we're going to do it together. All right, you guys, until next time, have a wonderful day.